And that's a nylon string guitar that was made for the Frankfurt Fair this year, which is a cedar-topped guitar with rosewood back and sides. And this was made for my demonstrator, Theo, who does plays at the shows for me to demonstrate the equipment. He used that on the concert stage at Frankfurt, and to great acclaim.
Chris Larkin is in the Rolls-Royce end of the guitar-making business. From his base in West Kerry, he's been making quality musical instruments for a mainly international market for over 20 years. He shows his work at the World Music Fair in Frankfurt every year, and it's through this and word of mouth that he gets most of his business.
I couldn't live without your love.
Chris makes everything from mandolins to electric guitars to archtop jazz guitars to stick basses, which are his best sellers here in Ireland.
There's an awful lot of non-glamorous work involved in making guitars, loads of sanding. I wear a mask an awful lot of the time to keep the dust out, because the dust can be pernicious. And also a lot of time using headphones, because there can be a lot of noise. I mean, I use machines for cutting large lumps of wood or whatever. Having done all this and put it all together, it then has to be finished. And generally I spray finish, again, which requires wearing a whole lot of very funny clothes to do that, and because the stuff is poisonous. And spray finish, polish, put the parts together, and then set the instrument up. All the way through at every stage, you're aware of how you're trying to make the instrument sound. So all the time you're working towards the goal of the customer and the goal that you've set for yourself. And so you can't really afford to make a mistake. Everything you do, every part of making, goes towards the final sound. This is a piece of European spruce, which is high grown up in the Alps, and it's a wedge. You can see it's a wedge out of the trunk. What you do is you cut pieces of this out side by side like this, which are then opened and what's called book matched. Because we've opened it out, we've got the same grain on both sides, and that's going to be a guitar top, an acoustic guitar top. And something else you would do, having cut it and got it at this stage, you would tap it, hold it freely and tap it, and listen to the sound and see what sort of resonances you've got in that, because the resonances you've got in that are ultimately going to dictate how the guitar's going to sound, or that's one of the things. And as you carry on building the guitar, you'll tap it continuously at different stages, because the sound is changing, and you should have an idea in your head of how you want, what sort of resonance you want. You want a free sound, you don't want a floppy sound, you want a free sound that's just at the edge of tightness. So, having cut your pieces, the thing to do is then mark them. This is a template for one of my guitar shapes. It's a half template, which means that whatever I do on one side has to be the same on the other. It guarantees that the instrument will be regular. So now there you have your basic shape onto the guitar top.
So how did you get into it?
Well, years and years ago, more than 20 years ago, when I was playing a lot of guitar, I saved up to buy what was supposed to be a good guitar. It was like a name guitar from an American company. And for about 3 months, I thought it was wonderful. And then I started to pick holes in it and say, well, this isn't quite right for me, or that isn't quite right. And being sort of big-headed, I said, well, I can do better than that. And never having made a guitar in my life, and my wife got fed up with me saying this and said, well, make one. So I did.
The finishing touches are very important too.
The shamrock, has been my trademark since 1983, and I inlaid a shamrock into the top. Now, for Irish people, they sometimes think it's twee, but it goes down really well everywhere else. Although a lot of people say, why do you have a clover in the top of your guitar? The labels are come from my wife's paintings. My wife, as you'll know, as you'll find out, does really nice paintings. A lot of them are guitar related, and we're able to take photographs of the labels, scan them into the computer, and then print out, or manipulate the image a bit, and then print out a suitable label for each guitar. So that if it's an acoustic guitar like this one, well, it's got an acoustic guitar theme in the label. And also on the label is the details of the serial number, the type, and all the rest of it that goes with it.
What do Chris's customers think?
Well, I actually came across them in magazines, actually English magazines. It was a bit funny seeing an Irish guitar maker being advertised in English magazines, and I hadn't heard about him. After that then, I actually spotted a few of his instruments around. As soon as I started to play them, I was very impressed.
Well, I came across, originally came across an older version at the music store in Dublin, and it was the nicest bass I found in there. It was the only bass that I could actually say, yeah, I want one of these. So I came down to Chris, found out where he was, came down and basically asked him to make one for me. But again, made to my own spec. This is the good thing as well, that I actually got the bass made to what I wanted, which you can't do off-the-shelf guitars.
The greatest pleasure is hearing someone who can really pull the goods out the instrument, make them work, because I can make them the best that I can, but I'm not a great player. But when you hear somebody who is really good, loves what they're doing, picks up the instrument, loves the instrument, and makes it work, then that's a fantastic pleasure. That's really where it's at. And I've been known to burst into tears hearing people play, because it makes you realise, you know, what you're doing is quite good. It works. That if somebody has the skill, they can really pull the sound out of the instrument. And so that's fantastic pleasure.